Welcome to the first video of the sound series. In this video, we are going to learn about how sound is produced, how do we hear sound, how sound acts as a waveform. So, without any further delay, let's soar the sky. Every day we hear a lot of variety of sounds. Some sounds are pleasant, some are not so pleasant. So how do objects create sound? How do they produce sound? So let's come to the production of sound, which is the first topic. Sound is produced when the particles in an object vibrate against each other. What is the meaning of this? Every object as we know it is made up of molecules or particles. When sound travels, it is a form of energy. First of all, let's be very clear, sound is nothing but a form of energy. So, when sound energy passes through any object, the particles or the molecules inside the object, they start vibrating against each other. And due to that, the sound energy travels inside them and creates sound again. That energy travels inside them and due to the vibration, the sound is created. So the very obvious question that arises in everybody's mind is that what is this vibration? Vibration is nothing but a rapid to and fro movement of any body, which can be a particle, a molecule, anything. A rapid to and fro movement of any body about its fixed point, about a fixed point from where it is stated. So, if a particle, it's not actually moving but swaying to and fro about a particular position, that movement is called vibration. That is not an actual movement from like moving from one place to another, but it is vibrating, that is swaying to and fro. This can be very well determined by using a simple rubber band. See here, I have a rubber band in my hand. I have stretched it in between two of my fingers. Now, if we pull the string of the rubber band, it will start vibrating and you will be able to hear a faint sound. This you can also try at home to find out the sound produced by a simple rubber band, by the vibration. See, the bands are vibrating. This is how we can produce sound. Here I have a mouth organ in my hand. In order to produce sound, I have to blow air inside it, just like this. Now, I have blown a certain amount of air, that is, I have used a certain amount of my body's energy to blow this air. Now, the greater energy I'll use to blow air inside this, that is more air which gets entered inside the mouth organ, will make the sound louder. That is, see, this time the sound is louder because I have used more energy to blow more air inside this mouth organ. So, in this way we can say that sound is a form of energy because the energy that we are using from our body to blow the air inside this mouth organ gets converted into sound. So, sound is nothing but another form of energy and it can be heard by our ears. We can feel it, we can get it inside our body with the help of our ears. So, what are the sources of sound? Those objects that can produce sounds are the sources. It can be anything. It can be a musical instrument that we are playing. It can be our vocal cord, which is situated right below our mouth, inside the neck. Okay, so it can be anything. There are various sources of sound, various objects which can produce sound naturally or artificially. So, how do we produce sound from our own body? When we talk, we are communicating with the help of sound, or we also make other noises from our body. How do we do it? We do it with the help of a structure called voice box or larynx. This structure is present right inside our neck. See, I'm holding my fingers. Here, when you are talking, if you put your fingers here, you can find that this particular place is moving. So, you can very well understand the structure that is responsible for creating the sound is present right inside our neck and is known as voice box or larynx. Another important point is how does this structure work? This structure has two membranous tissues, and they are called vocal cords. These two membranous tissues are present inside the voice box. There is also a narrow slit in between them so that air can pass through them and make them vibrate. As we started this particular video, we started with the production of sound, and there I told you that sound is only produced when the particles vibrate along a particular point. So here also, in order to produce sound from our own body, there has to be a passage of air or anything else that would actually help the vocal cords or the particles or the structures responsible for creating the sound to make that vibration. So here the vocal cords are the two membranous tissues which has a narrow slit inside them where air can pass through and make them vibrate so that we can create the sound from the voice box and it comes out of our mouth. How do we hear sound? There is a huge process involved which occurs so fast that we don't really get to know that how complicated it is. Let me break it down to you in an easier way. So, sound waves basically enters through our outer ear. This part of the ear that you can see which is protruding from outside our body, this is called the outer ear. Sound enters through the outer ear and pass through the ear canal. As you can see in this diagram, it passes through the ear canal and then it reaches the ear drum. Okay, so the first process is it gets entered through the outer ear and then it passes through the ear canal to reach the eardrum. The second step is after it reaches the eardrums, due to its energy, the eardrum starts to vibrate. Okay, vibrate due to this received sound and pass then the eardrums. After vibrating, it passes the vibration to three connected bones to the middle ear. So what happens? The eardrums vibrate due to the received sound and passes these vibrations through three connected bones to the middle ear. So the ear is divided into three parts. There is an outer ear, there is a middle ear, and there is also an inner ear, as you can see in this diagram. Okay, so sound entering through the outer ear, creating vibrations, passing through the ear canal to reach the eardrum. Then eardrums, after receiving this vibration through the help of three connected bones, passes these vibrations to the middle ear. Then what happens is these bones inside the middle ear amplify or increase the vibration and send them to the inner ear, which is also known as cochlea. So the third point is these bones amplify the vibration and send them to the inner ear or cochlea. After receiving these vibrations inside the inner ear or cochlea, a strange thing happens. What is that? The cochlea contains a particular fluid. This fluid is set in motion due to the received vibration. When the vibrations are received inside this fluid, the fluid starts moving. It is set in motion, and as soon as it moves, there are fine delicate hair-like cells which gets activated. So the next point is this moving fluid activates thousands of delicate fine hair-like cells. They convert these vibrations into nerve impulses. Okay, so here this very important thing occurs which helps us to hear the sound finally. So cochlea, after receiving the vibrations, the fluid inside cochlea is set into motion, activating thousands of fine hair-like cells that converts the vibrations into nerve impulses. Now what happens? The auditory nerves which are connected to the cochlea will receive this nerve impulses and carry them to the brain. So the auditory nerves, connected auditory nerves, carry them to our brain. Now finally, the brain converts these impulses to the sound that we hear. This is how we hear the sound when it is produced. It is a very fast process, though complicated, so that we hear the sound very fast. As we have discussed in the earlier part of this video, that sound is produced by vibration of particles. So, we can very clearly say that sound is a wave that produces a to and fro or a back and forth movement of a particle, that creates the vibration inside a particle. Now what happens is, say for example, this is one particle that is receiving the sound wave. Now it will either start vibrating to and fro like this or back and forth like this, any of the movement depending upon the direction from which the sound has hit it. And then due to its movement, it will also affect the movement of the particle that is next to it and the particle next to it. And here is how the vibration, which starts from one end of an object, travels throughout the body of the object, one particle to another. The vibration, this is how the vibration travels from one particle to another inside a particular object. These vibrations are not actual movements. They are actually vibrating about the mean position and in a wave-like pattern. As the air starts vibrating after receiving the sound, what happens is it gets compressed and creates a pressure to the nearby air molecules. This compressed region of air is called compression. So what happens is, when an object vibrates after receiving the sound, the molecules or the particle starts vibrating, and due to this vibration, the air molecules nearby to those particles, they also get a certain pressure and they are compressed. This compressed region of air is termed as compression. Then these compressed air molecules transfer and push the energy forward towards other molecules, and the backward region slowly relaxes. This part is called rarefaction. So what is rarefaction? After compression occurs, it moves forward, compressing the forward air molecules which are located in forward direction of them. Okay, as it moves forward, the backward, the remaining air molecules, they relaxes and releases the pressure which was there inside it. So this part is now called rarefaction. So this is how sound waves travels in air, creating periodic and alternating compressions and rarefactions. Since the vibration of the air particle is along the same direction as the propagation of the sound waves, it is known as longitudinal waves. This is a particular form of wave. So here we come to the end of our first video. If you have watched till the end, a sub to the channel will be amazing. Coming up in the next video are the various characteristics, property of sound, reflection of sound, propagation of sound, and also echo.